these are your extensions. This is for Mr. Souto. This is for Mr. Kaci. Have a good match.
Okay, gentlemen, when you're ready. Good luck. There's not a couple of wins. Push out call. Mr. Kaci is your choice.
Okei, tervetuloa takaisin Biljardtube-kanavalle seuraamaan neljännesfinaalien toista vaihetta. Eli nämä neljännesfinaalit pelattiin 2 osassa. 2 ensimmäistä peliä on käyty. Toisessa Huong Vietnamista voitti Elliot Sandersonin, olisiko Englannista, mutta siis pelasi UK, eli United Kingdom tunnuksen alla. Ja sitten meidän Suomen Petri Makkonen voitti erittäin varmalla suorituksella Niels Feijenin vanha tuttu Hollannista, vanha konkari Hollannista. Se päättyi niinkin reilusti kuin 10-3. Eli eilen Jirin kanssa täällä vähän pohdittiin, että miten tulee käymään. Ja kumpikin kyllä, vaikka Feijen on aikoinaan ollut Petulle erityisen vaikea vastus. Siis joskus silloin 10-20 vuotta sitten. Niin nyt Petri oli sitten hoitanut sen hyvin ja niistä me vähän veikkailtiinkin, että ajat ovat muuttuneet ja Petri kyllä varmaan sen hoitaa ja niin teki. Täällä on peli alkanut ja tällä hetkellä menossa on Kledion säkälyönti, eli 5 meni ohi. Menee 2 vallista vähän Haagion avustamana vissiin ristikkäisen kulmaan. Ja mikäs sen mukavampaa, kun aloittaa peli tuurilyöntipartilla. Katsotaan mitä käy 6 ja 7 kanssa. Se ei ihan simppeli ole, mutta lähes simppeli. Eli pääsee hyvin 7 päälle. Ei ongelmia. Selostan tällä hetkellä suomeksi. Tervehdin tuossa faneja myös nyt englanniksi, eli jos saadaan englanninkielisiä kysymyksiä tai kommentteja chattiin, niin hyvä. Vaihdan sitä aina englanniksi ja Kledio siinä tyylikkäästi nostaa vielä partin loppuun käden. Pahoittelee säkälyöntiä herrasmiesmäisesti. Hyvä merkki. Pieni hatunnosto Klediolle tästä. So welcome also for all the international fans. We had a great number, 3,500 fans in the previous match when the Vietnamese superstar Quong Duc Hong was playing. And now we have again a good number of viewers. Not sure about your your nationalities, but I will speak both in Finnish or English, whatever is preferred. So you can all join us in the chat or join me. I'm alone here at the moment. You can join me in the chat. I will try to answer your questions. And I will read your feedback also. Kaspar Vaara kysyy, että voiko nää kommentoida ouluksi, ja kyllähän sekin sopii. Hahahu, you're very welcome. Kledio breaks well, but is unfortunate with the position. 8 ball is covering the 1 ball. I'm not so sure about how well he broke, because normally you try to break the 1 to the side, and now as the 1 ball is at the table, then might be that the break wasn't that good. Who do I think will win? Well, I would give a slight advantage to Kledio, firstly because of course he's a 1-0 up, but secondly because he played such a good game when I was in Sweden about 5 months ago, playing in a tournament there, and Kledio won it. He played excellent, at least in the finals. But also Jonas Souto Comino has played excellent game for some time, and he won one of these kind of tournaments, I think in Colombia, if I recall correctly. Could be also other parts of Central or South America. So he's a very much of a fighter, good player, and getting seasoned year after year more. And as the Spanish players normally are, he's for sure here not to lose. So you can see his composure, you can see his body language, that his adrenaline is rushing and he's there to fight. So I'm expecting a tight match, and if possible a good quality tight match. Kaspar Vaara kysyi Fargosta. Se on hyvä asia, mutta sitä pitää toki kehittää, niin varmaan tarkoitus onkin. Et kyllä joku tällainen Fargo-tyyppinen elo-rating shakissa, niin joku sen tyyppi. Mä en ole tällä hetkellä, mä oon jo nähnyt jotain puutteita kyllä siinä Fargossa, mutta uskon, että sitä tässä ajan kanssa, niin kuin, jos ei siellä ole liiallista amerikkalaista itsepäisyyttä puikoissa, niin sitä voi sitten varmasti kehittää kyllä. Quasar Jonas is a ref have to be more sharp. Jonas made foul when he played jump shot, but he didn't do anything. Neither referee said so. Okay, good point. I didn't see it. So if that is true, your point is very valid. I didn't notice it myself, but I was a little bit also like disoriented now here with the technical stuff. So I'm now more able to focus. Jonas, I was just saying that he didn't. I thought in the beginning that he will play a full carom to the 9, maybe even try to pocket it at the same time, and then place the 3 on the side. Now he was a bit fortunate not to hook himself behind, because for some time it looked that he might be fully behind the 9. But now he was able to play it quite easily to the upper right. Probably placed the 4 ball into the same corner pocket. He has a bit funny angle, very thin on the side, or a bit awkward to the corner, which he will probably opt, like he seems to be doing. Kills the cue ball, and that is a good shot because he has lots of space between 9 and the side pocket to go 2 cushions back to the 7. Okay, he played it with the high. I have been playing this shot which he just played. I have also been playing with the inside high spin, but rather recently I have changed a bit, because I was watching this one of the very top female players from China, Cheng Ximing, who has probably played a lot of Chinese 8-ball. And he was playing very, very, very solid game in the women's 9-ball world championships. And I noticed that he was all the time playing these shots with the low outside spin, so like back and forth side cushions. And I realized that it is actually easier, like it's sharper. You can pocket the ball, because in Chinese 8-ball the pocketing is so much more difficult. So you're able to pocket it with better percentage. But either way, both shots are valid in that situation, and many still like to play it with the inside spin, because pool tables are more forgiving.
Souto Comino break, light at 1.
There was this rare happening when the Taom max rack little bit changed the path of the white ball. Not saying that it was a very crucial thing, but it did change it now. It doesn't happen often, but this time it did. The 2 ball is a bit easier, but as the 5 ball is blocking the corner, so Souto Comino has to play the safe shot anyway. It's a good looking shot, but actually there is a path. So there is a path for a relatively easy safety, I would say. I doubt that he will go for the 8. It is possible also, but I would maybe guess that he rather stops the 2 ball to the 8 and gets the white. No, he seems to be playing with more full contact, so he might be able to bank the 2, but will he try to bank it to the upper left? He might be looking at, or let's see what he's doing. First, I thought he will play safety. It is. He plays the 8. That's a nice shot because he was able to stop the cue ball for the 7. That's a great shot actually. It was not too easy. I mean, stopping the white like that to the 7 was actually, if he really played it like, if he tried to play it like that, which it seems, that was a great shot. It was quite risky though. Bit thinner contact on the 7, on the right side of the 7, and he would have been behind the 9 and maybe even scratching on the upper left, but now he is a favorite to run out. Routine 4, routine 5 should get a good angle on the 6, and then it will be routine 6, 7, 9. Seems that Kledio has woken up with the right foot. He's very much looking the sharp killer, what I saw already in Sweden end of last year. Our own junior champion Riku Romppanen beat Kledio in the stage 1 rounds. They played in the WNT TV table, and Riku very convincingly beat him 9-3. But then Riku drew Kledio again for the last 32 match. Probably got a little bit annoyed of it. It's sort of psychologically difficult to continue from that because you already beat the guy once, and now you have to play him again, and you are on the same level. You have played better in the past, but then you start again from the same level at last 32. So it's a bit annoying that you're the one who has already won the guy, but now he gets a second chance. And if you lose, then it's 1-1 in the games, but you're the one who is out. The other guy is the one who continues. So it's not. It's psychologically bit advantage for the guy who comes from the loser's side because he gets a second chance, and the guy who is in the winner's side sort of might feel frustration of it. But it's more like a subconscious thing, of course. In your conscious mind, you shouldn't be thinking of this thing anyway, but Kledio stroking it good. I think it's quite enjoyable to watch his game, and it's of course, as we all know what kind of a champion his elder brother Kaci is, then it makes it even more sort of interesting to see that, okay, there is a little brother, let's see how he plays. And when he seems to be a similar champion, or not yet similar, but let's say his potential is he can be a future world champion. No problem with that idea, but it's always interesting to see that, okay, from the same family comes these champion guys. We have seen it in the past. Of course, co-brothers, there's even the third one. He hasn't yet broke through with the world stage, but both Ko Pin-yi and Ko Ping-chung are world champions players. And also Mika Immonen just recently passed away. His brother passed away, and he was a very good player. When I started to play 1989, Kari Immonen was one of the top players in Finland for many years. He was a silver medalist in national championships and Finnish team champion. In our first European Championships, he beat Ralf Suke very nicely and was very talented, good player, also like Mika. Didn't have the same dedication, but otherwise he would have easily been able to continue in the top Finnish level, but also European level. Okay, Kledio making some statements here. Shivers the 7 a little bit, doesn't get the angle he wanted, but I would assume that it won't be a problem. He will probably bang the 7 and stun it from the... Or will he stop? Is he able to stop? It's difficult to say the angle completely. He double checks it, doesn't want to make any silly mistakes. Sees the 8 from that, so he probably tries to stop it. Or if there's too much angle, he goes to the cushion and bounces a little bit. Okay, he draws. He was straight in, more straight than what I saw from here. Didn't want to stop, which actually I think would have been a better idea, because then he would have had a free position for the 9. Now he has to negotiate again, draw it, avoid the scratch. Okay, he goes to this side, bounces a bit too hard, goes a little bit too near. So he made it more difficult than what he would have made with the stop shot. But he's still a favorite to make this. Seems very focused. Jonas staying still, which is should be mandatory, it should be default. I mean, should be default, but unfortunately not always is. But nice to see that Jonas Souto Comino is a gentleman who doesn't pull tricks in that kind of situation. Timo Rasmussenille terveisiä täältä selostuskopista. Kiitos palautteesta. Jos kaipaatte suomenkielistä turinaa, niin se onnistuu kyllä, jos englanti kelpaa, niin tässähän tää menee vähän treenimielessäkin. Mä saatan hyvinkin olla, tai tarkoitus olisi, että mä olisin sitten tuolla VNT-kopissa selostamassa englanniksi, se on hyvä myös treenata sitä tässä samalla. Okay, a little break was there. I had to visit the trash was, I mean the, how do you call it, somebody was smoking and not, there was some fire or some smoke coming from the dustbin. Souto running out, having a good chance of getting one back to 2-3. Should leave some angle on the 6 and keep his head leveled, and it's 1 point for him.
Just on the way to Helsinki downtown, but no one. Okay.
Looks like a break and run. Doesn't want to get straight in with the 8. But even if he would do, he's still favorite to make the 9. But you always want to leave in these situations a little bit of angle, so you don't have to sweat the 9 from the cushion. Kaci Jonas, you're asking, what do you mean by that? What do you mean about what? What do I mean about that or what? Kiitos Henri. Petri Iivonen kysyy, että kuka VNT-kopissa hoitaa selostuksen, ja siellä on ollut tää tuomari, tai siis Matchroomin paljon kiertänyt tuomari Ben, vähän vaikea nimi oli, en muista sukunimiä kunnolla, mutta siis Ben on etunimi, joku kaksosainen sukunimi, vähän vaikea, Fuentes siinä taisi olla, jos oikein muistan, voi olla, että muistan väärin, mutta hän on ollut siellä, ja sitten on ollut ehkä jotain, ainakin yksi pelaaja siellä kävi, tää Christian Surder Romaniasta. Muita mä en ole hirveästi kerännyt seuraa sitä, tai tosi vähän, mä olisin kerran kävässä ja silloin tää Christian Surde oli siinä. Mut sitten se voi olla hyvinkin, että tää toinen Matchroom tuomari, jonka nimeä valitettavasti en muista, tai en tiedäkään, että meitä ei ole vielä esitelty, niin hän on saattanut hoitaa myös näitä selostuksia, mutta Ben ainakin, että sen mä tiedän varmuudella. Yes, Gekua Bela Sasori, probably from Vietnam. I'm a little bit changing the language because there are some Finnish questions, so I tend to answer those in Finnish and otherwise in English, but also the Finnish players or the Finnish fans here are also saying that English is fine, so I'm mostly speaking in Finnish. But if there is a Finnish language question, then I might answer it in Finnish, because I'm not 100% sure that all the Finnish people know English that well, even though mostly we do. Kledio breaking good, but getting hampered with the 9, meaning that he has to jack it up, but it's so easy to pocket it. The 2 ball is almost hanging by the side pocket, so shouldn't cause problems. Just wants to be on a good angle with the 3, because the 4 doesn't go to the lower left pocket, so either he wants then to play he might be checking if the 3 is better to be played in the side. He might be good also playing it with the corner, so he can either draw the cue ball back to the right side of the lower long rail and play the 4 on the left side pocket, or if he gets a worse angle, he might follow and try to play the 4 ball on the lower right corner pocket. That's what he's watching now, but once again the angles are a bit unclear with me, because for me it seems that there should be angle, so he will hit the 5, but maybe he doesn't if he follows, I mean. He's drawing it like I first thought he will. But he was too straight. Or he didn't have a nice angle, so he was a bit careless, but also you could say that he was overly careful with the white, so he missed the 3. And a good chance for Jonas Souto to level the score to 3-3. Kiitos Tommi. Jonas leaves a tester to himself. This kind of shot in a practice table wouldn't cause any extra heartbeat, but he wanted to get more straight, definitely more close to the 4. He has to test himself a little bit, took an extension, if I saw his lip sync correctly. Bangs it in, plays a bit 50-yard line, but certainly he will go to the side pocket, 2 cushions, showing the line what he wants to come up or come down, maybe you could say from that direction. He's coming down towards our, we say down table now is where the 6 relies. Didn't get the check spin as tight as he wanted, but he's still good. It's better to have a little bit more angle often than to be too little angle. There's more options. Just as long as he didn't go to the 8 ball, so the 8 ball didn't interfere with the cueing. He can leave a straight in 8, but he probably wants to have a slight angle so he can stun the white or roll the white a little bit towards the 9. As good as these players are, they want to have they enjoy to have easy 9 ball, not letting any pressure. It's not only about giving yourself slight odds to misses, it's about the focus, it's about handling the pressure, meaning that even if you leave a little bit tighter, if you leave a little bit more difficult 9 ball, it's still like maybe 85% you make it or 90%, but the thing is that you have to use much more energy in your brains to focus on the 9. So that's why you want to leave it as easy as possible, so you don't have to battle between your ears that will you make it and stuff like that. Because it's a long day, even though it's only 3 matches, but all shots have pressure. It's raised to 10, you play, let's say, average. If you win a match, you play, let's say, 100 shots, including the safeties. So all the shots have certain amount of pressure, and you want to keep the level of that pressure as low as possible. The easier you make it for yourself, the more you reserve and save the energy in your mind for the situations where you really need it, and of course for the final, where if you get tired you might get into troubles. Okay, the slight bang on the cue means that there is no ball in and the one ball is on, and as the two ball is on the same end, Kledio has a very good chance of now stealing one break from Jonas. I would say quite close to a stop shot here, leaving the classical 45-degree angle on the 2 and then sliding the cue ball between the side pocket and the 8. He didn't opt that, I'm surprised. Not that this is difficult for him. He probably actually wants now to go then one, he goes now back and forth. Of course that works also, but I could bet that Huang, for example, would have just stopped the white, played the 2 from the 45-degree angle and then come to the left side, because there was lots of space between 8 and 7 and the side cushion would have a little bit slowed the speed, so also the speed control would have been proper, but this of course works out. He's close to the cushion, but shouldn't cause problems. Bit straight on the 4, but can just draw the ball close to where it's now, rather a little bit longer, so he's more straight or having opposite angle to the 5 like this, so he doesn't have to go to the left of the 5, he can just go straight in or almost straight in with the 6, draw the ball so that he can shoot the 7 between 9 and 8. Doesn't want to be completely straight because he wants to get the white ball out of the cushion a little bit. Just like this. Maybe a little bit less would have been also good, but now he's still able to draw it without fear of losing it behind the 8. Seems that he's getting into his dynamic killer form rhythm. Doesn't spend too much time with the last balls now when he has the confidence of pocketing them. And this is the Kledio Kaci which I have seen and which I see deadly. So Jonas have to get his break working a bit better. Okay, so thanks for so I meant that it should be default me like Caserionis. Yes, what I'm saying is that I have traveled around and played in different places, and unfortunately, as sad or embarrassing it is to admit, many players don't have the manners. If you watch snooker, they are always like 100% still. If somebody moves a little bit, there will be a huge at least in social media, complaints about unsportsmanlike conduct. But pool players, unfortunately, maybe I don't mention our names. At some point I might, because those people are so annoying and so they are doing so much damage to the reputation of the game. But unfortunately, there are lots of players who do tricks, and that is sad and embarrassing and very low from their part. Sasori is asking, do you think carbon shaft is hard to play? I prefer a wooden shaft. I'm one of the last dinosaurs who do. I love my Culees cues. It's the best shaft I have ever used. But I did actually just recently try a carbon fiber because a friend asked me to try it and give a feedback. And I did like also, I have like few times tried carbon, and I have a few times, let's say 1/3 of the times, I have really felt that there is something into it. But it's also missing something, and that is the touch, which I prefer. And of course, as I have played like 36 years, then I have lots of history with the wooden shaft. But it's not completely impossible for me also to have the idea that to change. Culees now has a carbon. Also, it's bit thin, only 11.8 or 11.7. But it's too thin maybe for me. But it's not like out of the question to someday do the transition. But I'm also happy and proud to use the wood, because I love wood as a material is something very precious, natural and precious. About the game, it was Kledio Kaci who broke dry this time, and he did leave the one. It was not as easy as in the previous rack for Kledio, but it was makeable, and Jonas now a little bit blundered it, because as you can see, the white ball has also traveled way too far. He didn't leave a easy one ball. One ball is not going to the side otherwise, but with the 6. But because of that shot, he might have to play it a little bit harder. But maybe he's able to kill the white. Yeah, he's able to. Oh, it was easier. He was able to kill the white easily. So he played it actually perfectly, leaving us a little bit of angle and also having the 6 ball in a neutral position, not playing it behind the 7 or anything like that. And to Caserionis still continue with the issue is that I also feel sometimes that the referees are too soft. They don't, of course we don't have referees in most of the matches. Even in some professional matches there is just a referee who watches like several tables at a time. But I have been, still maybe not mentioning names, but I have been in a big, there was a big tournament, Kuwait Open 2016. And I was playing in the qualifications, which is of course very hard to do, and qualifications often have a bigger pressure than the actual tournament, because there you're already in and you're winning money and stuff like that. But in qualifications, you're out of the tournament. You have to get in and you have to get into the money. And I was playing in the finals with one Filipino, and he was moving all the time. And I said a couple of times nicely, then I said a little bit tightly, then the referee didn't do anything. And the guy didn't do anything except kept on sharking. So then I just had to like accept it, which is not easy. and I was able to win it 7-4, and I gave a big shout, like celebrations after that, because the pressure was so huge and it was so deserved win. At the same time, in the table, Kledio made a surprising miss. Was it the 4 ball or whatever, 5 ball? No, not 5 ball, maybe 4 ball. Souto played some good shots, but now this was a notch too hard, meaning that he has to travel around the table and negotiate with the 9 ball and 8 ball, which can cause problems. Also doesn't want to be, of course, in the side pocket from 2 rails, but doesn't also want to be jacked up too badly in front of the 8, or I think he should be fine. He can cube just from the left side of the 8. He likes to shoot a bit differently than I would, but let's say Huang would just go one rail, center, follow, but Jonas prefers to shoot a bit harder shots, meaning hard, like using more force, and stuns it 2 cushions. Has lots of intensity, and you can see from his face that the adrenaline is running in his veins. And it's leveled again, 4-4. Yeah, continuing with Kaser, that it's also a cultural thing in a way that when you have played all your life in a situation, where the, chickens run run around your feet when you're shooting, and people are moving and laughing and shouting and whatever. Of course, then you're used to it, and then you might not be like even acknowledging if you do it and you don't see the harm. But for example, there was a situation about a year or 1.5, maybe 2 years ago, when one player moved behind another player's shot, and there was a big hassle in social media about it. And that was not intentional. Also, the guy who was shooting then came and said that, okay, stop it now, the guy didn't do it and I didn't notice it. But what was sort of visible was that all the Filipinos came to sort of say to us who were criticizing the movement, or not maybe me at that point, though I normally do criticize it, but they say that we are weak because we get distracted of so easily. So there is a point what they are saying, but it's a cultural thing also. And in if you see snooker again and Matchroom, what Matchroom wants to do is to make it as a respectable sport. It's not only a game. It's not only like gamble and about who is the able to focus when the chickens are running around, but it's something what the viewers should see as a gentleman sport also. And that's why we have to eliminate all the sharking. But also you cannot, like, if you are used to sharking because of your culture, if you're used to that there is distractions because of your culture, it doesn't mean that you can just say that, oh, everybody else should also be able to not care about it. That's not how it goes. There is rules, and the rule is that the opponent should let the player shoot their shots in peace, and you're not allowed to move behind a shot or make noises or any other sharking techniques. Jonas left the 9 combination, plays it properly enough, and makes one more point. Jani Alholle kiitokset kommentista. Älä nyt kuitenkaan kaikille tällaista kerro, ettei tule ylpistyttyä täällä. Souto Kledio was stroking well and seemed to get in a gear. Quite soon it changed, and now it's Jonas Souto Comino who is leading. It's Kledio's turn to break though, so he has a chance now to pull one back. Joo, Ben Taylor Fuente oli siis Benin koko nimi. And now there is a bang of the break cue also with Kledio, some emotions, some nerves showing up. But this time there was no shot left for the opponent, so it was actually good for Kledio that the one ball didn't go in because the two ball and now also the one ball are snookered. Mä oon saanut, Kasper Vaara, joo, mä oon saanut huonon maineen tosta. Mä oon jutellut tossa heti kun mä kuulin, kun mä en oo ikinä siis syönyt näkkäriä silloin kun toinen on lyömässä. Mutta mä oon jotenkin hölmön ajatellut, kun mulla itsellä kestää niin kauan se niin kuin lyöntiin valmistautuminen. Et kun mun lyöntivuoro alkaa, niin mä pyörin siinä niin kuin pari kertaa yleensä ympäri pöytää. Ja mulle on sanottu siis, esimerkiksi Sampo Eronen on aikoinaan sanonut, että hoida mieluummin niin kuin näkkärit ja kepinskuffaukset sun muut niin kuin siinä hänen lyöntivuoronsa aikana, että sillä säästää aikaa. Niin mä oon jotenkin ajatellut, että okei, että se on parempi, että mä purasen nyt sitä näkkäriä ja sitten kun se 40 sekunnin päästä menee se kaveri lyömään, niin sit se on se häiriö ohi. Mutta ensimmäisen kerran, kun mulle siitä sanottiin, että kyllä, ja se häiritsee, mä tajusin, että jotkut tällaiset niin kuin hirvoset tai muut, niin nehän saattaa mennä siis 5 sekunnissa lyömään sitä lyöntiä, eikä 45 niin kuin minä itse. Niin heti kun mä sille siitä ensimmäistä kertaa sanottiin, ja niin, että mä sen ymmärsin, niin sen jälkeen mä en ole kertaakaan sitä tehnyt. Oli sitten näkkäristä tai suolapähkinöistä kyse. Että nyt jos mä purasen näkkäriä, niin mä katson, että se ei ole vastustajan lyöntivuoro. Heti kun mä tajusin sen, että kyllähän toi nyt häiritsee, niin mä lopetin sen. Ja kertaakaan en ole sitä tehnyt siis häiritäkseni, vaan pitääkseni verensokerin tasapainoa, niin jossa on haasteita, niin pitääkseni sitä kondiksessa. Mutta on kyllä sitten kuullut niin kuin toisaalta, että se näkkileipä tai ruisleipä niin on ilmeisesti kyllä häirinnyt useampaa kuin yhtään, että pahoittelut vaan kaikesta. Kertaakaan en ole sitä tarkoituksella, siis häiriötarkoituksella tehnyt, mutta nyt en tee sitä enää ollenkaan, koska on ymmärtänyt, että se häiritsee. Käytetään nyt mahdollisuus hyväksi, sanotaan sama hitauden suhteen. Tuolla on jonkun verran typeryksiä idiootteja, jotka luulee, että mun hidastelu johtuu siitä, että mä yritän häiritä vastustajaa, vaikka sillä ei ole pienintä. Mä en ole kertaakaan sekuntiakaan käyttänyt ylimääräistä aikaa häiritäkseni vastustajaa, koska se ei kuulu mun luonteeseen. Puhdas omatunto, niin kuin ainoa, mihin mä pyrin. Mutta se hitaus johtuu ihan muista syistä, niin niistä voidaan puhua kyllä sitten lisää, mutta sekuntiakaan en ole käyttänyt aikaa häiritäkseni vastustajaa. Päinvastoin on useita lyöntejä lyönyt ohi, koska mä oon yrittänyt lyödä nopeammin, koska en halua, että vastustaja häiritsee, mutta tällaista se on. Eri ihmisillä on eri keskittymismetodit ja prosessointinopeudet ja joskus mäkin pelaan nopeasti, vaikka se harvinaista onkin, mutta joskus taas niin kuin vaikka viime viikonlopun kisoissa, missä mä vähän pärjäsin, olin finaalissa ja voitin Petut ja Mällisen Juhat, niin mä tajusin siinä, että Mällisen Juhaa vastaan, että ne virheet, mitä mä siinä tein, niitä tuli joku 2-3 siinä aika alussa, niin kaikissa mä menin niin kuin vähän liian nopeasti lyömään. En ehkä nopeasti niin kuin vastustajan tai yleisön mielestä, mutta siis nopeammin kuin mitä mun oma keskittymiskyky olisi silloin kaivannut. Ja sitten mä rupesin käyttää vähän enemmän aikaa ja hitaaksi se meni, mutta sitten myöskin virheiden määrä väheni ja onnistuin voittamaan, paitsi sitten Riku antoi kunnon tukkapöllön finaalissa, mutta se siitä, palataan tähän peliin. So, Jonas has developed a chance to go 2 ahead. All the balls are open, no too difficult angles to be dealt with. Doesn't want to leave now much angle because he doesn't want to go towards the 7. He wants to to be able to stop it. Looks that there is some angle, so he might have to draw the ball to the side cushion. Joo, vielä vastataan Kasperille, että kyllä on varma, että ei ole ainoa kyllä varmasti tää sun kaveri, jota on se häirinnyt. Muistan kerran Dimitri Jungo, se oli kans just näkkileivärässä, niin se antoi kunnon mulka. Se itse asiassa rupesi silleen niinku tiuskiin, tai silleen että vitsi mikä sharkkaa. Ja sit mä niinku olin ihan naamapunaisen siinä, tai no mä nyt en ehkä fyysisesti punastu, mutta siis olin todella pahoillani. Ja itse asiassa toi Mishaila Tap, tää entinen kuuluisa tuomari Matchroomin pöydältä, niin se tuli sanoa, että ethän se nyt voi näkkileipää. Mä olin että mitä enkö. Niinku, mutta siis tosiaan niin ainoa mitä voin tuohon sanoa niin on, että kaikki jotka siitä on häirittynyt on pahoillani ja kertaakaan en ole purassut sitä häiritäkseni tai vastustajaa, mutta jälkeenpäin myönnän kyllä, siis että ymmärrän, että se on kyllä voinut olla todella häiritsevää. Ja tosiaan kun siitä on sitten niin kuin kaveri mulle kerran siitä, että no häiritsehän se nyt ihan älyttömästi, niin sitten mä rupesin niin kuin miettimään sitten. Ja silloin mä tajusin just ton, että kun mä oon niin kuin ajatellut, että joo, että niillähän on hyvin aikaa siinä niin kuin pyörii ympäri pöytää, kun mä vähän purasen sitä. Ja sit sen jälkeen, kun ne alkaa valmistautua lyöntiin, niin sit mä oon niin kuin ihan hiljaa paikoillani ja leuat lukossa, mutta onhan se totta, että jos joku niin kuin alkaa syömään näkkäriä siinä, kun sä haluaisit mennä heti lyöntiin, sit sä joudut käyttää turhaa aikaa venailla, ja sitä et voi olla niin kuin ihan varma. Sehän on myös ärsyttävää, kun jotkut sellaiset sharkkaa, että ne saattaa tulla sun lyönnin taakke, ja vaikka ne liikkuiskaan, niin se on häiritsevää, koska sä et ole varma liikkuuksi. Se on eri asia, että esimerkiksi Siekkisen Janille annan isot respektit. Kasper Matikainen pysyy todella hienosti paikallaan. Mutta hirveän monelle muulle en voi antaa. Et jotkut tekee selvästi sitä tahalteen, että ne liikahtaa vähän tai tekee jotain muuta. Ja sitten joillain on sellaiset, että niillä on, onko niistä sitten ADHD tai mitä, mutta niillä on sitten, että jalka vispaa, se tennari vähän vispaa, tulee sellaisia huolimattomia, ottaa juomaa just siinä takana. Ja ne ei ajattele sitä vaan, että kaikki ei tee sitä sharkatakseen, mutta ne on, niiden pitäisi oppia kuitenkin olemaan paikoillaan. Itse mä vedän sellaisen suolapatsas asennon just sen takia, koska välillä, jos siis tuli rennosti ja nojaa keppiinsä, niin mulla on muutaman kerran käynyt silleen, että just kun toinen on lyömässä, niin se, kun se on rento noja, niin sitten tulee sellainen pieni, että se keppi luistaa kädestä, tulee sellainen pieni notkahdus. Kukaan ei ole ikinä siitä sanonut, mutta mulla on 2-3 kertaa käynyt silleen, että okei, että toivottavasti joku voisi tollaisesta luulla, että se tehdään tahalteen. Niin sen takia mä vedän kyllä sellaisen patsaan, ettei vähän tullut liikuttua. Ja sitten on myös sille kaverille selvää, että toi toinen aikoo olla paikalla, niin se on helpottaa lyömistä. Okay, so it's time for Kledio to sharpen up. He needs this rack to stay in the match. Or let's say that he needs this rack to stay comfortably in the match. If he now misses this or loses this, it's 4-7. Of course, it's still open, but then it's getting already a bit stressful. He's looking at the combination, which is fine, but if he would play now straight into the red 3, he could just stop. Or he could have just stopped and played the 4 on the side and go for the 5. But now he has an angle, so he has to negotiate with stuff, and it's probably easiest to play for the combination. Plays it with lots of inside, always a bit tricky. New cloth slides differently. Now this cloth is like 1 week old, so it's not sliding at all as it was. So he was able to control it well. And a combination coming up. Sano Kaspar sille sun kaverille, että maukkaan sille näkkärit velkaa kyllä tosta hyvästä. And Kledio makes it to 5-6. Ja onhan se totta myös, että vaikka olisi sen lyönnin aikana paikoillaan, niin jos sitten sen toisen kun se toinen valmistautuu lyöntiin, jos siinä niinku liikkuu, niin kyllähän sekin häiritsee. Et ehkä pakko ottaa ihan vähän takaisin. Et Jani on mun mielestä viime aikoina ollut vähän vaikeampi vastus sen takia, että se ei niinku ihan koko sitä vastustajan tai siis meikäläisen lyöntivuoroaikaa niinku pysy paikoillaan, mutta kyllä se siinä niinku lyönnin takana, siis kun mä oon lyömässä, niin Jani on kyllä ollut luotettava kaveri tuossa suhteessa ja Kasperilla on hyvä ote tuohon noin kanssa, ehdottomasti. Ja tervetuloa muuten kaikki suomalaiset tänne live-yleisöön. On hyvä kuulla teidän ääntä, kannustusta. Joo, toi on hyvä pointti, mitä Tommilainen sanoo. Mä luulen, että monella on siis myös, taaskaan en nyt mainitse nimiä, mutta niinku, monella on siis just se, että, ja kyllä mä itselläkin huomaan siis, että joskus on jossain viikkokisoissa vähän niinku rennommalla tuulella ja on siellä enemmän silleen niinku vaan höpöttelemässä, niin sit saattaa niinku itekin siinä, kun ajattelee, että okei, nyt kun itse rennolla tuulella ja tässä niinku naureskellaan menemään, niin nythän ei tietenkään sitten kukaan muukaan ole tosissaan täällä. Mutta sen takia mun mielestä se onkin niinku tärkeä, siis kaikkein tärkein tässä koko hommassa on se, että kun vastustaja pyytää, eli hei anteeksi, voisitko niinku olla paikoilla tai voisitko olla hiljaa, voisitko olla räpläämättä kännykkää, voisitko olla niinku liikkumatta siellä, niin sitten ystävällisesti, sori, toki. Ja sitten tehdään se. Koska se, mikä on niinku sitten ihan mega ekstra ärsyttävää, on kun sä sanot ystävällisesti tai vaikka niinku miten nyt sanotkin, ja sitten ruvetaan niinku inttää vastaan. Tai niinku silleen, että mitä niinku, saahan nyt täällä vitsi liikkua, saahan mä nyt täällä puhua puhelimessa vitsi samaan aikaan. Eihän toi nyt voi häiritä. Sä oot pelannut niin pitkään, eihän toi nyt voi häiritä. No mitäs se on siitä pitkään pelaamisesta kiinni, minkä takia Ronnie O'Sullivan niinku joskus laittaa niinku yleisöäkin olemaan paikoillaan. Et kyllä se niinku, se on eri ihmisellä on erilainen tapa keskittyä ja etiketti on, että ei häiritä. Niin sit kun toiselta, että jos on rento meininki ja jutellaan, se on ihan ok niin kauan kunnes se toinen pyytää, että hei. Sit jos siihen rupeaa inttää vastaan, niin sanonko pari valittua sanaa. Ehkä nyt en tässä viitti kaikkien kuulen sanoa. Kledio shooting it well again, having a good angle on the 5. We'll try to get the cue ball quite close where it's now, maybe a little bit further. Goes 2 rails, has a good speed, has a proper angle, or almost straight. Wants to leave a proper angle with the 8. This was not ideal because he has to stretch over the 8. He would have been, the center of the table would have been much better. Would have had a better angle. Would have been able to reach it better. So this is something I remember my game and my view of the game changed completely end of 1993 when I saw first time Fong Pang Chao from Chinese Taipei to play 9-ball. He won the World Championships beating German Thomas Hush 7-1, 7-1, meaning he needed to win 2 sets, raise to 7, and he beat both of those sets 7-1. And that was completely different what I have ever seen, because I had seen, of course, Mika Immonen play. He played very dynamic and quite aggressive, not overly aggressive, but like very dynamic, sort of attacking game. And I saw Oliver Ortman, who was the best in Europe those years, and then Ralf Suke. Of course, Ralf played more methodical and conservative game, but Oliver was very much attacking type. The cue ball was like all over the place sometimes because he was such a good pocketer. So he was able to leave the cue ball much like longer distance, and if he was in a wrong angle, he just slammed balls in and draw the balls 2 cushions, sometimes 3 cushions, maybe 4 cushions, and that was very like aggressive, but also he needed to take some risks, which he handled well. But when I saw Fong Pang Chao playing, that was like completely different world. He moved the cue ball very little and never any more than was needed, and he played very soft shots, had a very short backswing, very short follow through, and he locked his hips and knees, meaning that he wasn't like sitting down like Oliver or Ralph or we used to do, especially early 90s. And of course, I could mention Kari Brady Johansson, rest in peace also. He was, of course, one of my first idols, which I watched a lot. He played more conservative than Oliver or Mika, but also not like what I saw in Fong Pang Chao. And that changed everything. I realized that actually if you minimize the risks, it makes a difference in the long run, because let's say if you play shots which are 99% and the other guy plays shots which are 96%, in the long day it makes a difference. It might be like 1 or 2 more mistakes in the whole tournament with the 96 guy, but if you play those 99 to 100 shots, I mean decisions of in your shot selection, it doesn't make a difference. The reason why Chao was playing his game like that was also a big part because they had such a small pockets in Taiwan those times. Somebody said that they were just like they could have been even below 4 inches. So they had a completely different approach to the game. The cue ball has to be in complete control. You cannot, slam the balls around. You have to be in exact pinpoint position all the time, and you have to play the shots very softly so the pocket takes them in. While those years in Europe and in Finland and also in Eurotour, we played in the best tables were Brunswick Gold Crown number 3, and they were very big buckets, almost like 5-inch. I don't know for a fact, but they could have been 5. Like 2 balls went easily in at the same time. So it was easier to bang the balls around to the pocket from the sides and run the cue ball around. Kledio plays a very good safety here. It might be that Jonas is not able to do what he's checking there. There might be a small chance that he's able to tighten the angle and hit the 2. Because if he has to go 2 rails, the 9, 7, 5 are in front. If he has to go 1 rail, 8 ball is in front. So there is not much. There is one chance that he goes from the near the 8 ball with right spin, goes 2 cushions to the 2, if this is not possible. But seems that this is possible because he's looking for it. So he plays lots of draw. Okay, it was actually quite easily possible. He almost made the shot. Okay, so that was obvious option then when the angle was there, but the result wasn't there. So now it seems that Kledio has a easy 2-ball, easy position for the 4, and then he has to go to the right side of the 5 to play it on the left, lower left corner. Hootsi kysyy, miten päivän pelit on mennyt. Niin Petri Makkonen pelasi todella hyvin aamun pelissä Niels Feeniä vastaan VNT TV-pöydällä. Kledio käy aika lähellä keskipussia, mutta ei haittaa, jos käy vaan lähellä. Hyvin ollaan 5 päällä ja helpohko partti. Ja sitten Hoang Vietnamista voitti Elliot Sandersonin Isosta Britanniasta, olikohan 10-7. Ja sitten nyt tällä hetkellä tuolla pelaa sitten VNT TV-pöydällä Mark Bisterbosch ja David Alcaide, ja David johtaa 8-6. Ja semifinaaliparit tulee siis olemaan Duong Quoc Hoang vastaan Petri Makkonen, ja toisessa semissä sitten tämän pelin voittaja ja Alcaide ja Bisterboschin pelin voittaja. Mitäs Junnupakka tuulettaa siellä? Okay, Kledio shooting well. It's 7-6 for Kledio Kaci from Albania.
Rap on 14, got to break. Leading by 7 raps to 6.
Kledio breaking, now he got the 1 ball in, and he's rather fortunate with the position as he has a easy looking 2 ball on the side and has a good angle to have the 3 next to the corner. Then 4 and 5 from 3 to the 4 should be easy enough, but has a little bit to deal with, especially with the 7. Then easy 5 should have a easy position for the 6. 7 quite in the center of the table. So if I keep counting my percentages here, I would say that this is easily 87% run out for Kledio, and as he's stroking so good at the moment, he's not on tilt or doesn't seem tired or anything like that. I would give even better chances than 87. I would give maybe 91. Joo, Petu Duong totta kai tässä. Siellä on heti 3000 vietnamilaista meille chattailemassa ja toki suomalaista väriä kiva saada pöydälle. Two rails, top right English. Okay, once again I guessed it wrong. He went one rail, rather stunning it. The angle is good. Wouldn't mind if there was even more angle, so he wouldn't have to be careful with the 8 at all. Now he has to a little bit play it with the side spin. Plays it very well. Seems that he's able to stop it. He has a little bit of angle, so let's see, is he able to? I think he's able to stop, meaning that he doesn't have to go to the... He doesn't have to follow to the rail and come back, or he doesn't have to stun draw to the left long rail and come back. I think he will just gently stop the white there. And now again he has a stop shot. He might have actually once again a little bit angle, so I'm not sure if he's checking. He's checking the center pocket also. Probably leaves similar kind of stop and then decides after that which one is better, left side or upper left corner. Okay, left side it is. Kyllä Junnupakan pitäisi täällä paikan päällä olla. Ei ole sama tunnelma ilman teikäläistä. So, it's going back and forth, but this time with two frame win swings. So it was a 6-4 to Jonas. Now it's 8-6 to Kledio, and before that it was maybe only one frame lead, but Kledio was leading in the beginning, like I think 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 kind of stuff. Then there was a moment that Jonas was winning a bit more racks. It was 6-4. If you have watched this Derby City and maybe some other of these, is it CSI or what is it, the organization in USA, but these which Akkustats streams and films, there is often this how do you call it, this graphics where you can see the frames won, like who has won at which point of the game. So meaning that if the other player wins first 5 and the other player wins the second 5, and then it's 5-5 when you come to watch the match, it's interesting to see if how the frames have come. So it makes a difference if it's like that they just, if it's like 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5, or is there some more drama, like the other one runs 5 racks and then the other one runs 5 racks and so on. So maybe billiard tube. Maybe I can suggest to billiard tube that we will also get this kind of graphics. I don't know if it needs then more. Does somebody have to like, or of course you can do it automatically. The system can count those. Petri Iivonen kyselee ehkä sellaisia asioita, mitä nyt en ihan osaa vastata, enkä onko reiluukaan vastata kaikkien tapauksessa, mutta siis niin ei, siis tämähän tietysti tämä paikka itsessään, tämä Pilari 24, täällähän ei ollut siis anniskeluoikeuksia eikä mitään. Se, että jos joku käy jossain ottamassa oluen, niin sitä en osaa sanoa, eikä se tietysti ole kiellettyäkään. Mutta kyllähän huippubiljardissa niin kuin totuus on, vaikka esimerkiksi Joe Roganin podcastin menin äskettäin just kuuntelemaan, missä hän haasteli Fedor Gorstia. Niin ja hänellä oli omat mielipiteensä asioista, mutta kyllähän päihteettömyys niin kuin huippu-urheilijalle on se paras tie. Että, voi olla, että niin kuin hetkellisesti saa hyötyä jostain. Mutta niin kuin mä muistan silloin, kun esimerkiksi kun Pakulajan voitti vuonna 2004, hän oli ollut edellisenä vuonna finaalissa hävinneenä osapuolena. Ja siihen aikoihin ehkä varsinkin Suomessa, mutta varmaan Euroopassakin niin oli siis vähemmän ammattimaista ja ehkä niin kuin enemmän tuollaista saattoi olla niin kuin jotain oluen juontia ja sellaista, niin hän sanoi, että hän otti liian rennosti silloin 2003, että silloin 2004 hänellä oli tarkka itsekuri, että ei missään nimessä niin kuin lasia viiniikään niin kuin iltaisin. Ja pikkuhiljaa mun mielestä se on koko ajan siitä mennyt niin kuin siihen suuntaan. Voisin kuvitella, että joku Josh Filler ei niin kuin todellakaan, niin kuin voisin kuvitella, että Fedor Ghost ei. Mutta sitten vähän pettymykseksi, mä tiedän, että jotkut on eri mieltä näistä, mutta vähän pettynyt olin, kun nyt sitten niin kuin Moskonin Cupissa, niin ne oli ottanut takaisin vähän niin kuin Woodwardit ja mun mielestä Korstillakin oli siellä niin kuin joku stobe kädessä, että se on mennyt takaisinpäin siihen niin kuin. Mutta se oli mun mielestä vähän myös sellaista niin kuin tulevan häviön niin kuin pehmentämistä ja selittelyä, että joo, ei me tätä niin tosissaan oteta. Ehkä se helpottaa sitä niin kuin tulevan selkäsaunan käsittelyä joillain, mutta ei se urheilullisesti kyllä paras ole. Ja löipäs hienon bankin Kledio sisään, mutta tuli vähän tollanen, miskä nyt sanoo, niin kuin ei two-way shot, vaan vähän niin kuin 1.5-way shot, että siinä ei sit sitä safetyhän siitä olisi varmaan, tai siis ollut hyvin todennäköinen, jos ei se olisi mennyt, mutta sitten taas tää päälleveto jäi niin kuin vaiheeseen joka tapauksessa, koska ei hän halunnut vetää. Kato, yrittikö tosta? No ei ehkä yrittänyt, koska tää safety oli joka tapauksessa niin hyvä. Ei halunnut, että nelonen menee kutosen karasta pussiin. Min Tuan, so like Junnu Pakka already answered, Al-Qaeda or Mark Bisterbosch, and the situation there, actually, it was 8-5 when I last checked, and I have said yesterday that Mark Bisterbosch is one of the guys who have played best here, and when I saw the match being 8-5, I thought that I won't be surprised if Bisterbosch still comes back. I'm not saying that he will win, because David will for sure make everything he can to win the match from here. But Mark has been playing well, and I would not count him out at any point. Jonas played an excellent shot with the 4-ball. A bit unfortunately for Kledio, the 4-ball stayed on, but the shot which Souto Comino played was beyond excellent. But this shot wasn't, and he's actually a bit lucky to be able even to play from one cushion, because I think the white ball a little bit rolled. No, he didn't even have to do it with the one. I think the white ball a little bit rolled, so I think it would have been slightly behind the 7 if the white ball would have stayed on its path. But he's now having a bit fortune to see the 6 and able to pull one back to 7-8 in 1 second or 2. Näinhän se Junnu menee.
Wrap number 16, Mr. Kaci to break, leading 8 tracks to 7.
These are crucial times, and the break shots, the most important shot of the game, coming up or going on. Now finished, and seems that the result is good. He made the one on the side, like was planned. Has a shot, or seemingly has a shot on 2, and seems from his body English that he's aiming for it. So 2 on the side, high spin, 1 rail, back to the center of the table. 3 ball is on, 4 ball is on, everything is on. Now he came a little bit further he wished, but I'm talking about like 10-15 centimeters. So it's nothing too crucial. Went to see the angle for the 4. Will he go under it, meaning that's having the... Yeah, he wanted to go under it, meaning that now the white ball goes to the left rails and bounces back to the center of the table and plays the 5 on the side. That is the best way to do it, because he will then have the easiest route to the 6, which is the only bit more, not difficult, but bit more difficult ball here because of the 9. So if he would have played the 5 on the left, upper left corner, and left an angle on the left side, meaning that the cue ball would have went to the right, then he would have had to negotiate with the 9 ball. And he went actually a bit far now. He doesn't like this angle completely. He wanted to be exactly straight or have a bit other side angle. So he would have gone from 1 rail to the 6, and then from 6 to the easy to 7. But now he has to little bit to negotiate here. Does he even have to slam it to the come down table? No. He was able to stop. But he was worried that if the draw would have by accident come too far, he would have been behind the 9. Now he has angle with the 6 on the other side, which we originally planned, but this works out also. He goes high ball. Again 1 rail, and this, I don't understand his 1 rail shots. He could have he has a good stroke, he has a carbon fiber shaft. Why don't he put more the right spin eliminate the chance of this collation, eliminate the chance for the scratching on the side. Of course, it was very unfortunate. Of course, if he would have tried to play that shot, it would have never been successful. It was unfortunate, but he's giving the chance. This is a little bit what I said about this Fong Pang Cha game, that he wouldn't give this option. He would eliminate that risk of scratch, even if it's like 1 out of 100 to scratch on the side, he would eliminate it. So then he doesn't have that 1 out of 100 chance to scratch. That's about it. Instead of 9-7, it's 8-8. That was not a difficult situation. This is a good like example of the problem of the modern game is that people have become again like bit like in the 90s when it was big buckets and Earl Strickland was dominating, that everybody was just banging the ball. So it has become a bit because of the carbon fiber and you know the developed stroke. Now it's again that these bangers have started to dominate the game, but you have to play also the white ball carefully. I don't think Ralph Suke would have done that mistake here. Don't give that chance of 1 out of 100 to scratch on the side. He should have played the earlier shot already, the 4 to the 5, a little bit more carefully, not to leave that angle. Junnu Pakka is asking in Finnish, or half, or little bit Finglish in the middle, that what has been the most exciting and nicest and most interesting match to commentate. And I have enjoyed commentating Hoang's game because I prefer this Asian style of play. He has a bit of this Taiwanese style approach, combined maybe a little bit with what they have in Vietnam, the 3-cushion background. But I would maybe still say that this match, because there is let's see. Let's give it a moment to think. Yesterday there was of course the Rikus. Excuse me. Of course the Rikus match. But unfortunately this time Riku was not playing his best. So it was, of course, then because of that there was a little bit disappointing feeling. But the previous match, otherwise, because Martian, which is Hoang, was so different, having so different playing style from Elliot Sanderson. But I think this match has sort of having also these both are playing with quite a lot of heart. They have lots of emotion visible, but they are also a bit different in a good way. And this is now I feel that this is exciting because this has the most emotion between these two guys, I think, in a gentlemanly way, but both have a little bit slammed their cues after frustration, and both have been a little bit lucky at times. Maybe Kledio a bit more, not sure. But I hope this gets on the wire like 9-9 soon. But these both guys are killers, and I don't see them missing. There might be a mistake, there might be luck or bad luck involved. But these guys are both on a mission. And now it's up to who has more luck, because I don't believe either of them is going to miss. Of course, you can say it's a bad mistake what Kledio just did in the previous rack, but these guys both are like, you know, there is one steak and two hungry beasts checking for it. I a little bit disagree with Souto. What I said, or what I would have played, was a little bit more right hand top spin, so he would have gone to the center of the upper long rail or upper side rail. So then the angle towards the 6 would have been ideal, and he would have not have any risk to scratch on the side. Only thing he would have needed is to play a little bit of inside spin, which some people still consider that it's a risky shot to do. But nowadays, with the low deflection shafts, I don't see any risk or difficulty to play it with the side spin, especially with the Taom V10 chalk, when the bad contacts are eliminated. Of course, if these guys still use some silly messy chalk, then it's up to them if they are scared of bad contacts. But we Finns and we Taom V10 users are not afraid of bad contacts, because those are eliminated by the excellent chalk we have. Kaspar Vaara kysyy Suomen biljonin tasosta. Se on kova. Meidän ongelma on se, että meillä ei ole tarpeeksi kovia pelejä. Et siinä kun hollantilaiset käy pelaamassa Bundesliigaa, Saksa on täynnä kovia pelaajia, siis lukumäärällisesti, niin meillä on liian vähän. Niin meillä on muutama tosi hyvä pelaaja, mutta nekään ei sitten niin Kappe ja Petu on niin samaa yhtiötä, et ei ne silleen niin vaikka niin kilpaile keskenään juurikaan. Kimi on ollut ulkomailla, Uski pelaa Counter-Strikea tai mitä nyt sitten tekeekään. Niin et meillä on liian vähän niin kilpailua. Sitten taas niin FPT, sori vaan liitto, mutta FPT on menettänyt niin hohtonsa, että ei siellä muodostu, että se on vähän niin kaikki boikotoi sitä tai ei lähde, niin sitä pelataan Vaasassa, Mikkelissä, Jyväskylässä niin liian kaukana, se on liian kallista maksaa hotelleet ja matkat, ja sit jos pääsee semeihin, niin on just omillaan. Et se ei ole niinku se vastaus, vaan niinku pitäisi saada kovia matseja huippujen välille ja sitten siihen mukaan niinku näitä up-and-comereita. Tietty niinku Riku nyt on ollut jo useamman vuoden, mutta Miro Bucket ja niinku nämä niinku lahjakkaat ja innokkaat juniorit niinku mukaan siihen. Et sanotaan, että se mitä mä ehdottaisin, sori nyt tässä menee vähän kisaselostus, toivottavasti Kledio tekee partia ja päästään kontraan, mutta mikä olisi kova juttu, niin olisi, että vaikka kerran viikossa, sanotaan ainakin nyt kerran kuukaudessa, mutta ehkä niin kuin jopa kerran viikossa olisi joku tällainen 8 pelaajan, niin kuin, vähän niin kuin treenipäivä tyyppinen, mutta siinä olisi kova kilpailu, kaikki laittaisi vaikka 50 striimi ja sitten siihen niin kuin pahvia seinää sponsseja, jotain, kun Suomessakin nyt rahaa on, niin joku vähän niin kuin laittaisi silleen, että sanotaan, mitä se nyt maksaisi, siis 250 laagi. Niin kuin firma antaa 250, laitetaan tuohon mainokset ja 8 Suomen parasta. Tai sanotaan 4 Suomen parasta ja 4 karsia, joissa voisi olla junnuilla niin kuin jotain vähän pääsee. Niin kuin Leevi Aurestoon, Lenni Aurestoon, niin kuin Miro Bakke, ketä näitä hyviä on ja potentiaalisia on. Että olisi niinku tiukkaa matsia TV-pöydällä, Petut, Kappet, muut Rikut pelaamassa. Jokainen laittaa 50, firma laittaa 250 per kerta. Sitten siitä voittajalle 60 pinnaa, kakkoselle 30 pinnaa tai jotain tällaista, tästä 10, no siis kakkoselle 40, mikä nyt sitten oikein se palkinta 65-35 tai mikä sitten oiskaan, mutta että niinku saatais hyviä matseja, kisatyyppisiä pelejä isoihin voittomääriin, niin kuin 10 voittoa pelit, 8 kuppi tai sitten voi olla joku niin kuin muu systeemi, mutta tuolla me saataisiin niin kuin paljon kokemusta niin kuin nuorille. Se, että ne käy viikkokisoissa on hyvä, mutta se ei ole sama asia. Siinä on tasoitukset, siellä on niin kuin eri tasosta meininkiä. Tota pitäisi saada. Se tarvitsisi tietenkin sit myös aina, totta kai eihän nyt kellään ylimääräistä rahaa omasta mielestään on, mutta jos mä oon oikein ymmärtänyt, niin ei nyt tollanen niinku 250 pitäisi niinku firmoille olla niin älytön juttu. Se, että miten ne pahvijutut sit saisit, sehän voisi olla yksi, että on niinku, eihän siinä mitään pahvia tarvitse laittaa vaan tuohon kuvaruutuun, niin kuin tuossa nyt lukee Billiard Tube oikeassa yläkulmassa, niin olisi sitten niinku firman sponssit ja sitten vaikka kaikki pelaajat niinku sitoutuisi siihen, että laittaa yhden niinku vähintään nyt ton tarinapäivityksen tai postauksen sitten niinku sosiaaliseen mediaan, että Mercedes-Benz sponsoroi meitä 250 € tällä kertaa ja Rolexi sit seuraava kerran silleen. Ja se 250 voi olla lopulta aika pieni raha, että jos se saa sitten 500 myöhemmin 750 ja tonni 500, niin sitten se homma kehittyy ja kohta meillä onkin sitten oikeasti kovia pelejä. Sitten ne oikeasti kaikki haluu siihen mukaan. Ja niinku sit sillä Petulla ja Kappella ja Kimeillä ja niinku Uskeilla ja Romppasilla on niinku motivaatiota siihen, että se ei ole vaan se, että että se on vaan 50, blä blä blä, niinku, mutta sitten siinä on oikeasti, että hei, siitä alkaa tulla pyöriä rahat ja ei ole tasoituksia, kisasäännöt. Mutta katsotaanpa kontraa. Let's go for the hill now. Oi, very close, and instead of being very unlucky, he's actually very fortunate to have pretty much perfect on the 2-ball. He was going to the other side, other end of the table, almost scratching, but came back, the cue ball came back this end where the 2-ball is. He has to deal with the 4-7 because the 5 is not easy on it. He has to get into a relatively small sector on this end of the table for the 5. But there is a route. I don't know if he needs to even touch the 7. He might have to touch the 7, but most likely it won't. It won't even touch the 7. And even if it does, he still has a chance to play where he just showed with his hand. Just like I said, I started to answer the previous question, but just like I said, these guys smell the blood, both are hungry. There is only one. Has been a long winter, only one rabbit to be eaten, 2 hungry wolves. Who will get the rabbit? And who will have to go home with almost empty stomach? I predict obviously that Jonas Souto Comino is the one who gets the steak, gets the rabbit. He doesn't like the angle, he takes a little bit extra time, which is very understandable. He doesn't want to draw the cue ball and scratch. It might be that there is angle. Unfortunately I cannot see it perfectly. There might be a little bit angle that he might be afraid that he touches the 8, and for sure he doesn't want to draw the ball to the corner pocket. He bangs around the 8, goes towards the 7. There is a small chance, and once again he is fortunate, but he's also not out of the woods yet. He has to play a good shot. He might be able to just left spin, avoid the double contact. Okay, he goes this direction, so he goes right spin, elevates the cue. I'm not so sure that, well, okay. I'm not 100% sure of that shot. I have to see it afterwards, but referee doesn't say anything. Kledio doesn't say anything. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. But I will check it once more. Or maybe more than once more, but anyway, it's not my job to be a referee. Most likely, probably it was a good shot, so let's give a benefit of the doubt. Probably it was a good shot, because that's how there was no reactions from any part. Great out. But once again the player gave a chance for a mistake. Ralph Suke, Fangpang Cha wouldn't have given. They would have played more carefully for the 6, for a proper angle. So they could have just drawn the white ball to the side rail for the right angle. Now there was luck involved with the collision with the 7, and he could have easily been out of a chance to pocket the 7. But that's not the case. He was fortunate, and that's how it goes. He played well, so he deserved it. Okay, I will have a small break now. We will have a small break now. There will be a new link for the semi-final, and after that Petri Makkonen and Duong Quoc Huang will start their semi-final match of Taom V10 Open in Helsinki, Finland, billiard 24/7. See you later, hear you later. Thank you. Bye.